Welcome back, friend. I'm genuinely glad you're here with me today. There's something I've been thinking about lately, and I really wanted to share it with you because I think it matters. Have you ever found yourself sitting alone in a quiet moment, maybe in the early morning with a cup of coffee, and wondered if anyone really sees you anymore? Have you looked in the mirror and asked yourself whether you're still attractive now that life has written its stories across your face? I'm willing to bet that many of you have felt this way, but like most men, you've probably kept that question locked away in your heart, never speaking it out loud to another soul. Here's the thing about getting older in a world that's obsessed with youth. Society shouts constantly about the beauty of young skin and young energy, and it can feel like having decades of real experience, real living, real wisdom somehow counts for less. But I want to tell you something today that might genuinely shift the way you see yourself. You might actually be far more attractive and magnetic than you ever realize. Not because of your face necessarily, but because of who you've become through living. The signs I'm about to share with you aren't about having perfect features or looking like someone from a magazine. They're about something much deeper and much more real. They're about how you carry yourself, the way your voice sounds when you speak, how you make people feel when they're around you, and that quiet power that comes from having actually lived a life full of ups and downs, victories and failures. These are the things that create real, lasting attraction. And here's what amazes me. The evidence of all this is probably happening around you every single day, but you might not be recognizing it for what it really is. Let me start with something that happens more often than you might think. Have you noticed how younger women just seem comfortable around you? I'm not talking about anything inappropriate here. I mean the simple comfort that comes when someone feels genuinely safe in your presence. Think about those brief conversations you have throughout your week. Maybe it's the woman who makes your coffee who lingers a moment longer than necessary to chat. Perhaps it's a colleague who smiles a bit brighter when you enter a room. It could be your friend's daughter who actually listens when you're telling a story instead of checking her phone. These moments aren't random. They're signals that people feel at ease with you, that they trust your presence, and that they sense you won't judge them. Younger women, especially, are drawn to something they often can't find in men their own age. They're drawn to calm. They're drawn to groundedness. They're drawn to a man who feels like he has roots, like he's solid and present. You don't have to be loud or commanding to create this effect. In fact, it's usually the opposite. It's your quiet confidence, the way you listen with genuine attention, and your relaxed presence that opens their hearts. They laugh at your jokes. They ask you what you think about things that matter. They lean toward you, not just physically but emotionally, and that's everything. When people, especially women, start complimenting your appearance or style, it means something. Maybe you found clothes that fit you well and suit who you are. Maybe you keep your grooming sharp and intentional. Maybe there's a particular cologne you wear that people remember. These things aren't accidents. They're signs of a man who respects himself. And make no mistake, women notice self-respect immediately. It's not about being flashy or trying too hard. It's about doing things with intention. When a woman sees that you take care of yourself, she thinks something deeper than just aesthetic appreciation. She thinks, here's a man who has standards, who cares about details, who likely brings that same care to his relationships and responsibilities. Have you ever caught someone looking at you for just a beat longer than seems necessary? That moment means something. It's her way of initiating without words. It's a quiet hello that says, I see you, and I'm interested. It could happen anywhere, at the grocery store, the gym, a social gathering. That extra second of eye contact isn't accidental. It's her body's way of reaching out before her mouth ever moves. There's also something powerful that happens when people come to you for advice. Not just directions or help with small tasks, but real advice about their lives, their relationships, their futures. When someone does this, they're telling you something important. They're saying, I trust your judgment. I believe you understand how life actually works. This is incredibly attractive because it comes from wisdom. You've been broken and healed. You've built things. You've failed and gotten back up. You've lived through seasons that have made you understand the texture of human experience in ways that no amount of quick research can teach. Women recognize this. They respect it. And respect is where real attraction is built. There's a way of being that comes with age, if you let it, that's absolutely magnetic. It's not about trying to be noticed. It's about being so comfortable with yourself that trying isn't even in the picture anymore. When you walk into a room with your head up, shoulders back, moving with relaxed confidence, you're communicating something without saying a word. You're saying, I know who I am, and that's enough for me. For women navigating a world that's loud and exhausting and demanding, being around that energy is like taking a breath of fresh air. The way women flirt with you might look different now than it did 30 years ago, but it's still happening. Maybe she touches her hair when you're talking, or adjusts her jewelry when you look her way. Maybe you notice her mirroring your movements or your expressions. These aren't conscious choices for her. They're body language that speaks louder than words. When she brings up something small you mentioned weeks ago, when she remembers your coffee order or asks about your plans, she's showing you that you matter to her. She's creating reasons to spend time with you because being in your presence makes her feel something good. When you think about all of this together, what emerges is clear. Your attractiveness hasn't faded with age. It's transformed. It's become something real and substantial that young men haven't yet earned. That's the truth I want you to carry with you. The way you move through this world, the presence you bring, the wisdom you've gathered, the way you make people feel when they're around you, that's what makes you attractive. And honestly, that's what lasts. I hope you'll stay with this and really let it sink in.